Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Plenty of content coming your way. Hope you're enjoying it. I was pleased to see that some of you liked the whole Neptune and Saturn thing related to the new Pope, significant events in Christianity and religion over time. Thought it was a little bit dry, but anyhow, as long as you liked it, there is more I can do in that vein. But there was kind of information rich, but not always that peppy. So I hope this will be a little bit more entertaining. So I want to look at Keir Starmer's chart, particularly in the light of recent events, and particularly because we're all wondering, like, how long is he going to last as Prime Minister? You know, he is not the most popular guy. He's not charismatic. He doesn't have a natural appeal. He's alienated virtually everyone in the country to some degree, apart from certain people he gave increases. But I now see doctors and is that teachers are going to be striking as well. So more pressure. Plus, you know, Rayner, who stabbed Corbyn in the back and will stab him in the back in an instant, to sort of, you know, aggravating there, wanting more kind of taxes on the middle class, etc., to put more pressure on the guy. And as we know, Reform is surging in the polls, did very well at the county council elections. Who knows what could happen? So because I'm doing a trial on Starmer, I think I might be having some new watchers who don't usually watch me. And in this case, welcome. Glad to have you on board. This is not a woke astrology show. We do serious political subjects. So we look at the transits, and we also do, you know, more relationship astrology and some more fun stuff as well. So let's look at Sir Keir's chart, right? He's born on the 2nd of September, which obviously makes him a Virgo, and he's born in 1962. So we're first going to look at his sort of transit chart, or we look at like his general stuff, right? The interesting thing about his chart is he has Sun conjunct Pluto, which is pretty exact in Virgo. In fact, can't exactly see the degrees because the light's too bright now to see the paper here, but you'll see it up when I put the chart there. So Sun conjunct Pluto in Virgo, right? What does that say about him? Well, the interesting thing is this is opposite Jupiter in Pisces. We obviously don't know his time of birth. He's got a rather interesting Saturn in Scorpio, which is being triggered by his progressed Sun right now, which I think is intriguing, given these rather weird events over recent weeks where there were 3 attacks or fire bombs on his former properties, or one is his current property, but he's not living there because he's in Downing Street. Another property, a car. Who's involved? These like really young Ukrainians and a Romanian, who one is potentially a rent boy, according to Craig Murray. You'll see the tweet there. The others are advertising their services as male models, male fashionistas, male masseuses for £20 an hour. I mean, the English is very, very poor in their video promos that they've put out of themselves. What on earth are they doing? How do they even have knowledge of where his former properties are? What are they doing firebombing him? What on earth is this all about? So that's intriguing. Then he's got his moon in Virgo, his Mercury in Virgo, his Venus in Virgo. I think this is where we find out why he's taking all these donations, why he just loves smoozing. You know, taking donos to go to the Taylor Swift concert, taking donos from Lord Ali to have like these super expensive glasses. I don't know what they help him do, look through walls or something. I don't know, but anyway, they don't look that special to me. And he's what was getting Lord Ali to buy underwear for his wife. I mean, he's just been taking masses of donations from all these people for really frivolous, materialistic things. So I think all this Venus in Libra, he really likes the nice life. And obviously with Sun in Pluto opposite Jupiter, he enjoys wealth, riches, attaching himself to people with influence. He has Mars in Cancer. I think he has a really weak ego. He's got so much to prove, right? And he's very insecure. There's so much overcompensation going on in this chart. So let's look again natally at what I see. Now, everyone says this is a guy who lacks charisma. He's very brittle. I almost regard him as one of those peanut crunch bars that you bite into, and they're really harsh on your teeth and they shatter everywhere and they're just brittle. That's what reminds me of his whole personality. But obviously, there's a clinical side to him. Sun conjunct Pluto in Virgo, you know, it reminds me, you know, he fastidious and precise. He's a killer queen. Yeah. Also reminds me as well from that wonderful Queen song when it goes, He keeps the Moet and Chandon in his pretty cabinet. Let them go cold, he says, just like Marie Antoinette. Yeah, right. You know, you get that, the Moet and Chandon lifestyle, right? Um, what else does it say in that song? Something about some perfume came naturally from Paris. Oh boy, yeah, for patriots, though he couldn't care less. So it just was running through my mind, that song. He's meticulous, he's controlling, he is incredibly ambitious, he loves power, obviously. Sun conjunct Pluto, he does want power, but he goes about it in a very strategic way. He shows a lot of patience, got an enormous amount of self-control. Underneath it, I think he's a very angry person. All that self-control, he's holding down so much emotion. He needs a pressure release valve. He's a maneuverer, right? Very strategic, details oriented, clinical, quite ruthless as well. Definitely a cunning mindset. Like I say, he knows to use strategy. Everything about him, though, is highly contrived. There's nothing natural. And that's why he doesn't sort of have the Libran charm, even though he's got these Libran planets. Because there's so much kind of cold calculatingness and so much repression behind there, he's not able to exude that warmth. He's not able to connect with people. He doesn't have anything in his chart that's particularly kind of friendly or whatever. Also, interestingly, he's got Mercury in Libra square Mars. He's quite a irritable person. He's quite grouchy, smug, stroppy. He's abrupt. I can imagine he's the person who really barks at you if you get something wrong. Really tense character to know. Very argumentative as well. Might have served him well as a barrister, although he's not one of your flamboyant sort of Andre Nal, what were those very good barristers in Oscar Pistorius case in South Africa. He's not like that at all. Okay. What does Pluto opposite Jupiter tell us? Well, tells us there's a self-aggrandizing side of him. You know, he's trying to buy into this power image, even though he doesn't naturally possess it. That's why he'll attach himself to anyone with power. He reminds me of when you, fortunately haven't done this for a while, when you stand in one of those really sticky dog shits and it gets stuck in the grit of your shoe. He's like one of those dog shits that the rich and wealthy just can't wash off their shoe because he clings to anything that represents power and tries to suck off it. Also the sort of person who punches down. He'll bully people weaker than him, but he'll suck up to people he sees as more powerful to him, which is a really unattractive trait in anyone as well. Like I say, there's a certain amount of greed within him. This Jupiter in Pisces, this Neptune in Scorpio, and these Libra planets. There's something really greedy there. Person who breaks promises as well. Very much in the sort of nouveau riche mindset. Now, when I see Mars in Cancer, that's a very weak placement for a man. He doesn't exercise power in a very straightforward way, leads to a kind of sneaky undertone, probably has been bullied, and therefore, you know, most people who bullied, any chance to bully, and they're right up for it, aren't they? Definitely weak, cowardly. I say about the overcompensation going on. He likes to hide behind others and scapegoat others for his weaknesses. Very, very unlikely to take overt control. He's always, that's I think a lot of the stuff he's done, he's been told to do, and he's got that sense of power behind him to do it because he knows he can act with impunity. Even in terms of, it's very difficult for the Labour Party to chuck him out because traditionally Labour don't remove their leaders. It's not like the 1922 committee with the Tories where we saw them get rid of Theresa May, Johnson, Truss. I mean, it's very difficult for Labour to get rid of Sunak because they don't operate like that, although that could be about to change, as we'll see when you look at his transits. So he enjoys wealth and luxury. He's got a kind of smooth side and almost a little bit of a childish side to him. He's got a unfulfilled sort of fun side from youth. He does have Moon in Libra. It shows he had to grow up very quickly. He was very mature from a young age. You can see he was never really a young person, right? Maybe that's why he likes now to go to the Taylor Swift concert and try and recapture his youth because he's always been very serious. And his lifestyle's always been pretty serious. I know he talks about his mother was ill and had a long-term illness, and he does hold a lot of kind of stress from that. Yeah, he does. He did experience early responsibility. So yeah, that is something I will say in his chart as well.